This is KGW News at noon.
This morning at Portland's Salmon Street Springs, Democrat Tina Kotek held her first press conference since being declared the winner in the Oregon governor's race. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brenda Braxton. The Oregonian called that race yesterday, and just hours ago, Kotek laid out her top priorities when she takes office.
There's a new governor in January. My focus will be on the things that matter to Oregonians, and that is going to be housing and homelessness and mental health and addiction right off the bat. And that will be my focus going forward in the first months of my administration.
This morning, Kotek also announced her transition team. She said she's confident in the initial results and those calling the race in her favor. She also revealed she's spoken with Republican Christine Drazen. She described the conversation this way, saying Drazen, quote, understands the current analysis. But Drazen hasn't conceded, and both candidates are urging patience as that vote count continues. So let's take a look at the numbers. Right now, Kotek is leading Drazen 46 to 43%. Whenever we get another update, we will bring you the latest on air and online on KGW.com. Now let's take a look at the biggest races that are still too close to call. That includes two Oregon congressional races. In the 5th District, Republican Lori Chavez-DeRemer is leading Democrat Jamie McLeod Skinner. If Chavez-DeRemer wins this one, Republicans will flip this seat currently held by Democrat Kurt Schrader. And in the new 6th Congressional District, Democrat Andrea Salinas leads Republican Mike Erickson, but her lead has shrunk since we last reported it this morning. Salinas is now ahead by less than 2%. And in Southwest Washington, Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp Perez remains in the lead over Republican Joe Kent. We're expecting new numbers later today. Lewis County will report at 4 o'clock. Clark County at 5 o'clock and Cowlitz County at 8 o'clock. Democrats are trying to flip this seat after Kent beat incumbent Republican Jamie Herrera Butler back during the primary. The outcome of all three of these congressional races will play a factor in deciding which party controls the House of Representatives. And there's some backlash this noon to Oregon's strict new gun law. Lynn County Sheriff Michelle Duncan has already come out against Measure 114. Among other things, it requires a background check and a permit to buy a gun. It also bans large capacity magazines. And Sheriff Duncan went on Facebook saying her office will not enforce that part of the measure. A lot of things remain uncertain, including when Measure 114 will take effect. Pat Doris dug into the issue last night on The Story.
According to the Oregonians' projection, voters did approve it, but by a slim margin. What exactly will Measure 114 look like? Well, let's break it down and take a look. Anyone who wants to buy a gun in Oregon will have to get a permit first. Those will be issued by local law enforcement in a process that will be created and overseen by Oregon State Police. As of now, that process is still in flux. What we do know is the steps to getting a permit include completing a gun safety class, submitting to a federal criminal background check, which does include getting your fingerprints taken. The permits could cost up to $65 and would be good for 5 years. Once you've completed those steps and paid the fee, local law enforcement would have 30 days to issue the permit. And if you are denied, there is an appeal process. If you're approved for a permit, there's no limit to the number of guns you can buy. It's not like one permit is only good for one gun. These permits would not be required to own a gun, only to purchase one. That means that current legal gun owners do not need a permit unless they want to buy another gun. The measure also bans ammunition magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, with the exception of people who already own these magazines. You can keep them. The new ones just cannot be sold. The measure also closes a loophole in the system now, which says that anyone with a pending background check can still buy a gun after 3 business days. Well, that's not the case once the measure takes effect. So, when does this thing actually kick into gear? Well, Thursday, December 8th is the effective date of voter-approved measures. But because so much of this measure depends on programs and processes that haven't been implemented or executed yet, the practical impact on voters is basically still to be determined.
That was Pat Doris reporting. In the meantime, Oregon Measure 113 received a resounding yes from voters. It's directed at Oregon lawmakers who walk out of a session to block legislation from passing. If they have 10 or more unexcused absences in a single session, they can't seek re-election the next term. Judy Stigler is a former lawmaker from Central Oregon. Now she teaches political science in Bend. She called Measure 113 a grassroots effort, with Oregonians gathering enough signatures to put it on the ballot.
I think the public, or certain portions of the public, just got fed up to their eyeballs with all of the maneuverings and manipulation.
Those against Measure 113 included Christine Drazen and Betsy Johnson, who said it would give the state's majority party too much power. Now that it's passed, the state will have to define an unexcused absence because at this point, the state constitution doesn't specify. Other stories we're tracking for you this noon. Portland police are investigating a hit and run. Officers say a car hit a woman around 10 o'clock last night at 64th and Southeast Powell. She's in the hospital this noon with life-threatening injuries. Officers are looking for the driver and ask anyone with information to call Portland police. A Multnomah County judge has dismissed charges against a suspected arsonist. The 18-year-old was one of 3 suspects accused of setting fires at Mount Tabor Park. Court documents showed the DA's office declined to pursue this case. A second suspect also had charges dismissed, and a third was never charged. And we are counting down to opening day at Timberline. In case you missed the big announcement, tomorrow it will fire up 2 lifts, Bruno and Poochie. And skiers and boarders can head up to the mountain from 9 to 4 every day. And those are some of your local headlines. Let's head back to the Weather Center. Chris, what kind of base does Timberline have?
They're sitting with 27 inches right now, so that's some good news. And we might actually get a little dusting up there tomorrow. Here's the live look, by the way, the mountain. Oh, look at that. It's just now coming out. We had a cloud over it just a second ago. With the top of the mountain coming out now, that is a pretty shot. And I did mention some potential snowfall up in the Cascades tomorrow. Maybe a dusting up at Mount Hood Meadows and Timberline. Maybe a slightly better chance as we get down towards the Central Oregon ski resorts like Mount Bachelor, right? So that's something to look forward to. I think as skiers are really licking their chops to get up there. All right, let's give you the wide look here across the northwest and going out into the gorge. We've got blue sky, the cloud cover breaking up nicely out in the East Gorge. This is the live look from Oregon's Veterans Home in the Dalles. The Oregon coast, the live look from Chinook Winds Casino Resort Hotel in Lincoln City, and you can see a little broken cloud cover there. And here over downtown Portland, we are trying to break up that morning cloud cover, and we have in a lot of cases. It's chilly, it's only 49. And we're probably not going much farther in the temperature department this afternoon. I've got us partly to mostly sunny today, maybe inching up towards about 50. Sunset. Ouch. 4:45, and it gets earlier from there. Your 7-day forecast comes up in just a few minutes.
Oh, it's that time of year. Thank you, Chris. Coming up, a sign inflation is cooling off. We have the new numbers. And Facebook announcing some big cuts. How many employees it's laying off.